Birkot Torah. And today's topic is, what exactly do we make a bracha on? What do we make it on? Do we just make it on, steigen? Or what do we make it on? What's the definition? So the Gemara actually begins to set us some parameters. And what do they say? Am Rav Huna. Lemikra tzarich levarech. For Tanakh, or Chumash, we need to make a bracha. Lemidrash? Nah. No bracha needed. Lemikra v'lemidrash tzarich levarech. Lemishnah? No. Ain't tzarich levarech. Rabbi Yochanan Omer, Afla Mishnah Nami Tzarech Levarach. Avala Talmud Ein Tzarech Levarach. The Rabbi Amar, no, Afla Talmud Tzarech Levarach. Tamar Rav Chia Barashi Zibnin Sagin Have Kamina Kamai Durav. Then Tuye Parkim Besafra Debei Rav. V'Havi Makdim. V'Kam Masa Yadei Uvarech Umasne La Pirkim. The Gemara concludes, and this is, by the way, often the start of the Gemara, that it brings what is the reason why the Gemara, or sometimes even the Mishnah will do this? Well, it brings some case. The answer is, because that's actually the halacha. If that's what I saw my Rabbi do, that it in fact is the halacha. And I will, before I give a shir, he said, stop! How can we have a shir? How can we have a pupil? How can we learn Gemara unless we recite Birchot HaTorah? And therefore, on any limud whatsoever, whether it's Mikra, whether it's Midrash, whether it's Mishnah, whether it's Gemara, one is obligated to recite Birchot HaTorah.
Isn't like Gemara include Mishnah?
All of them?
Yeah, it includes all of it. So obviously, how can you say that you do make a bracha Mishnah, but you don't make a bracha Gemara?
I think Gemara for them means like the
pupil.
And yeah.
But they weren't like quoting the Mishnahs for like in the midst of their pupil.
Who knows? They might have not.
Yeah, not necessarily. Meaning, remember that our Gemara is not their Gemara.
Well, it wasn't done yet.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's not, right? So, it can't be. Mm-hmm. Right, this is before reviewing Rav Ashi.
Yeah.
So, think about look who's speaking here. It's, first of all, these guys will live later. Take a look, it's Rav Huna, and then it's Rava. We're talking, this is multi-generational, these things. This is not happening live. So what they must be recording is, wait a second, when these guys would learn Mishnah, they would say it. 50 years later, 100 years later, no, and now that we're learning it, we also would say it. That's what, they're not,
And there's, when it says learning, there's like, to memorize count, or let's say for like learning is also the same idea as memorizing. You're not really doing it to learn it, you're doing it to know.
So take a look, we'll see that coming up in a minute. We're going to talk about specific cases. This, by the way, could have ramifications potentially for the concept of hirhur. Hirhur is very important. Hirhur is, what about if I think Divrei Torah? In the modern era, people always ask this question, what about if I could do Sima Shas on hirhur? What do I mean? Every day I do Daf Yomi, but I don't actually learn Daf Yomi. I play the MP3 of the Daf over my iPod or whatever, my phone. I listen to it on my commute to work.
I mean, how's that different than
or the subway? Right, how's it different than listening to a shir? I don't have to crack open a Gemara. I can finish Shas. And by the way, that could also be, the truth is, and Ezra's right, is it so different maybe than going to a shir? It could be totally passive. I'm not even reading the words along with the Magid shir, right? By the way, this happens in high school too. You could actually not read ever a word of Gemara unless you get a faher, unless they make you have a, right? Otherwise, you could quote-unquote finish Gemara with Rishonim and never read. It's a bit of a problem, no? But yes, there's no question that it's going to be, we'll have to think with that. And this would also be important because if hirhur applies, by the way, hirhur bracha, and also it applies hirhur in the bathroom. Right? And on Shabbos, can you do a hirhur of business? What do we say in the song? Hirhurim mutarim. So you can do hirhur for business. Okay, I don't think that's here. Is that the hirhur is not pertaining? The hirhur is not on the shadech havanot. I don't think.
Hirhurim mutarim is go on Shabbos walks. On Shabbos.
That's the hirhurim mutarim.
That's the next line of the song.
Okay, it's going. Okay, fine. That's good. Says the Shulchan Aruch. Tzarech levarech ben mikra ben mishnah ben gemara, and says the Ramah even medrash. So, and what is the reason why? So the truth is, if you take a look at the Talmud of Rabbeinu Yonah, he even says himself that what's the rationale? He mishum shemishnayot v'talmud mefarshim et psukei Torah v'lomdim misham et ikrei mitzvah. So What was that?
He holds like Aaron.
Right, so he's saying it's all about Chumash, right? It's all about Chumash. And everything else is just a parish on Chumash, but Chumash is the Ikar. That really is the Notein HaTorah, and it's the Ikar. In kachu hadavar ola she'la, yim yesh merech al limud midrashei Agada, machshava. What about you? I'm learning more Nevuchim. More Nevuchim is not, although, I mean, I guess the truth is, it depends on which part. The Kuzari, right? Ramchal. Derech Hashem. In many cases, they don't quote psukim, right? Or very little here and there, here and there. But you could learn for a serious amount of time on quite a high philosophical, intellectual level, and never stumble across the pasuk. You have the Sefer Torah, and we know Torah. Or how about Kabbalah? Shehar. No one here is 40, so no one here will learn that. Harehem einam mefarshim klal psuke Torah ve'einam oskim b'mitzvot amasiyot. Says the Aruch HaShulchan, I have no idea, because we can't read it. I guess we can read some of it. We'll try to make our way through the Aruch HaShulchan.
Dash.
It
says dash.
Dash?
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Vida. She.
Right.
Wow.
Dash is ISIS.
What's that?
Dash is...
Regards.
No, the way it's spelled like that is what they call ISIS.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In Arabic and Hebrew.
Okay, that first line we're just going to have to skip. Hamaskana. Okay, there you go. It doesn't matter. We're going to the maskana anyways. The gam the medrash levarach mishum. The midrash lomar gam kolab ha me haposkim mikav chomer migzer shava medrash vatorah and Joshman. So this is from Majeh Halacha. Majeh Halacha we know deals with halacha. V'zeh mashma she'ein achiv rabbi dvarim shemefarshim dinei Torah. Do not think for one moment that it's not just about, you're not obligated to say B'chad Torah on just things that explain Psukim. Avot divrei Agada Kabbalah she'eni karam l'dirim v'alachot ein tzarich lebracha. Wow. Look at that. But for things like mamash pure midrash or Kabbalah that are not the ikar of the deen, no bracha is needed. Aval. Im nemar hatam mishum jakol nitan Moshe misinai, which is the griz. Omishum the kulu Torah mikra, or it really, when we say Torah, it encapsulates the entire body of Torah. Pshita, the gam agada and kabbalah in the Moshe misinai is considered Torah. From the Shon Talmud Rabbeinu Yonah, it would not be the case. Halacha l'maaseh. Im tzarich levarach et b'chad Torah l'fi amirat slichot b'ashkamat haboker. It's a great question. What about slichot in the morning? Right? Just a few months ago. Mitzad echad medubar bepsukim shlechor mechuvim bebracha. Right? We know a lot of the slichot are psukim in Tanakh. Ach meidach hem ne'arim derech tefillah v'tachunim v'lo b'tzor shalmud. But again, we're just saying it for tefillah, so maybe laning, right? Maybe also laning might be the same. It's not for learning. I'm just reciting to recite. So if it's tefillah, maybe you don't need to say B'chad Torah. Okay, let's go on. Yeah.
There's not focus. What was given to Moshe Sinai? Is that what they're arguing about?
Whoa. Okay, so look.
Yes.
It's like what's the Havam? You know that.
Yeah, look exactly what. There's no question what was given to Moshe Sinai. But I'll give you an example. We know. Let's take something which there's no machloket on.
Okay.
Right. We know that there are 39 avot malachot. Exactly what they are. There's a machloket over. We know that. That's what Moshe Sinai. Certain shiurim, the size of a 3 tvachim, 6 tvachim, 10 tvachim, 15 amot, right? 10 things that have different, what's the definition of lavud? All those shiurim, right? They're halacha Moshe Sinai. So those, maybe you could argue, that would perhaps be given Moshe Sinai, and therefore that's what the bracha over.
Okay.
But let's take an example that everyone's going to agree that's halacha Moshe Sinai. Megillah, Hilchot Chanukah, Purim. What? What's that?
I'll tell you after.
That's not halacha Moshe Sinai. Hilchot Chanukah, I don't believe was given Moshe Sinai. No, anyone want to?
Yeah, but some people say it's mitzvah d'oraita.
Okay, now what I'm trying to say is the discussing, zakukla, the ein zakukla. Different types of petilim of shemen pertaining to Chanukah.
The whole concept of kula nitna the Moshe Sinai
it's not literal.
Yeah, because that's the whole point of that story in the Gemara that brings Rabbi Akiva, and he's being dorish the letters, and Moshe is sitting in the back of the class, and he's like being dorish whatever, and they're like, "How do you know this?" And he said, "Halacha Moshe Sinai," and Moshe doesn't understand what he's saying.
What?
It's a finished Gemara. The Gemara in Reuven.
the whole concept of like Moshe Messina is like
is much more expansive. Meaning, Halacha Moshe Sinai doesn't just mean what was Moshe Sinai, but even the principles,
right.
Even the principles are given at Sinai, but their applications, like Hallel, like a Hanukkah concept, like a Purim concept, those were still based on Halacha Moshe Sinai, because the concept of Simcha, right, the concept of celebration, of Avodah Tov, of Yom HaTzmaut, those ideas, meaning that their basis for them and conceptually are still rooted in Talmudic dictum, in various principles of Halacha Moshe Sinai. So you're right. So explaining how expansive we want to define Halacha Moshe Sinai would have potentially ramifications made of Torah, or so it appears. Okay, says the Shulchan Aruch, and this is Halacha L'Maisa. Here we go. Lo yikra psukim kodem b'chad Torah. No. Even psukim, perhaps even just to lane, perhaps even just to daven, even if it's not la'asok with divrei Torah in terms of I'm now learning, one still should recite b'chad Torah. Av al pi she'omrim derech tachanunim. Even if it said derech tachanunim, meaning paras lichos. V'yesh omrim she'en lachush, kivan she'en omrim ela derech tachanunim, v'nachon lachush l'svara rishona. Says the Ramah, aval ha-minhag kesvara achrona. That's nice. Mechaber, that's not the minhag. Sharei b'mei aslichot mitpaldim aslichot v'achar kach mevarchim ala Torah im seder shar brachot v'chein b'chol yom shemachnisim v'et ha-knesset omrim kama psukim v'tachanunim v'achar kach mevarchim ala Torah. If you take a look at most sidurim that are printed, I think Matovu is before B'chad Torah, no?
Yeah.
What's going on? How could that be? Matovu is a pasuk in Bamidbar, right? Pasuk in Parsha Balach. V'chein b'chol yom shemachnisim v'et ha-knesset, I said already. V'nagu l'sad b'chad Torah miyarach achrei b'chad asher yatzar v'en l'shanot. That's the Ramah. HaShulchan Aruch hayvi shtei shitot. Ach HaRamah katav sheminhag lahachmir lomar at the bracha lifnei. No, he didn't. This is wrong. What? Was it the opposite?
He didn't say. He said Ein Lashano. I don't know where that guy got that from.
The editor made a mistake here. We have to write them an email. Right, and we have to write them an email. There's a mistake here. No? Am I wrong?
Wait, what?
Look 117 at the top. Didn't the Ramah say that you don't?
He didn't say that. He said Ein Lashano. V'nagu l'seder brachot Torah miyad achar brachad asher yatzar v'ein Lashano.
It's the line at the top, right?
But which is after Slichot, no?
Maybe, I don't know. Actually, when he said that also, it's not clear. I don't know.
Wait, I'm saying it seems to contradict the second half. It seems to contradict the first thing he was saying. No, it's not.
Which second half are you referring to?
The Ramah, the first half of the Ramah versus what he says at the end.
I thought the Ramah is saying no, we're Meko that we only say B'chad Torah after Slichot.
Oh, okay, fine.
No?
I thought that's
I
what
don't
he
know.
was saying.
Okay, we didn't have to ask.
You're saying okay because this last.
Okay, fine. This is what I care more about. No, I don't care more about. Look at 20. Lefi mashkat of l'kaim medahainu naglu v'arach b'chador miyarach b'chad asher yatzer v'lo mar shum psukim mitchila. So that's what he's explaining. The last line, the Ramah seems to say that even though the Svara is not clear in the Ramah, the last line in the Ramah must mean that Nagu Lomar B'chad Torah by Asher Yatzar is referring to right away in the beginning, even before Sichot.
So I guess it's a minhag kisra.
Right. So it appears that even though that's the minhag, this is really the minhag.
Aval minhag v'nagu.
Right.
And two different things.
Which is not usually what you'd see, right? But v'nagu versus a minhag.
Okay.
So this is a minhag, but this is what we do. And the answer, what's the halacha? What we do.
Yeah.
Meaning do B'chad Torah.
Meaning do B'chad Torah first.
For everything.
Which is usually pretty standard. Most people say, I mean, I would say in the morning when there's slichot, we always try to do B'chad Torah first, right? Before. Yeah. It's collapsing. The camera. Okay, let's go on. And that's the Mishnah Berurah says. Im ken svar ledein lomar psukim afilu dech tachlim kodem b'chad Torah. Im ken nish linhog gam b'mei slichot lomar b'chad Torah kodem slichot v'ledulga charkach. By the way, this is important enough. What happens related to slichot? Do you jump into slichot or you say b'chad Torah? So says Mishabura, Bracha Torah first. It's not that we're going to say, okay, you know what? Since there are people who hold that, you can say Sichot first. Say Sichot. Say Bracha Torah after. No. Say Bracha Torah first. That's B'chiddush. Meaning, that's how much he wants to say, Mamish, you should not recite Psukim at all.
That's an interesting question then.
Yeah.
Is that, right, the reason we do Birkat Torah in the beginning is because, like, you know, you don't know how much a person is going to learn in the day, so you say Birkat Torah, you say a few Psukim, you say this, you say that, and you're done. So if you come late to Slicha and you really want to get in there, so can you just skip out of Yivarechecha Elu Dvarim
and get right into
the Slicha, and that will be Yotze you? Because if you need Birkat Torah on Slicha, so why should you need to say the other Psukim?
Say the other Psukim. I mean, we say, that's why we say Psukim, Yivarechecha, then that's why we say Mishnah, right? Elu Dvarim. What?
No, it's quote a breakdown also.
Right. So, we kind of do it all.
There's another thing that they didn't...
But you're right, it could be, maybe not.
That we didn't answer, which is, what about Nach?
We're going to answer that with...
Not at all.
Well, I threw that out there. I mean,
That was
Mikra usually just means Chumash.
Yeah. And I know, like, I've heard people say that you don't make Birkat Torah on Nach.
Yeah.
Especially if, like,
It's about Lachem Moshe Misinai.
And the Sfar of Rabbeinu Yonah, that it's all because it's being Mefarish the Psukim of the Torah, is why you make a bracha on Talmud and whatever.
One could argue maybe Nach is big. Some Psukim in Nach.
Nach is what?
Let's say Tehillim. Let's say I'm doing Shmuel Aleph.
Yeah, but Nach is, I mean, there's Nach that's completely different than the Torah. It's not just explanation.
Right. No, I realize
You're
that.
sitting down to learn some Divrei Yam in bed. You need to make Birkat Torah.
Sefer Dinayim.
Also, so then why do our Siddurim have Matovu and Adon Olam before?
I don't know, we shouldn't. We should change it.
Yeah, better to say it the other way. Doesn't really make sense.
Look, don't get me wrong, the Ramah says this was the minhag. By Slicha, by Matovu, by that's clear.
There's some Siddurim that have it the other way around.
Really? Yeah?
It's not our scroll.
Our scroll is page 12,
Go to
page 14.
Koren.
Not the only Siddur out there.
Only one.
Go to Koren. They're offering a free sitter.
Go where to Koren? I can.
Their website.
You sure?
Their
Free
website.
sitter?
You order
Free
it,
Siddurim?
yeah. Free sitters. Not the regular Koren sitter.
The old ones?
No, either the children's sitter or the Friday night sitter.
I love the social center.
So, go to
What about shipping?
Take a free
It's
sitter.
free. Just put in your address. It shows up in like 2 to 4 weeks.
That's pretty good. I bought 10 of them. I should buy more.
Really?
Okay.
I don't know why. Just because.
Did you order one?
Yeah, of course.
Today? Dafka today?
Yeah, I'll get the free.
I saw it yesterday.
Nice. Okay. So here we go. Hamivarchim al Ktiva Hirhor or Shmiat Shur. This is a great question. This is super duper practical. You're driving, let's say you're very from, you're driving to Minyan and you don't want to waste time, so you have a shira in the background. Right? Maybe you need to say Birkat Torah. What, by the way, what about if you're listening to music? And the music, Jewish music, could quote Psukim, could quote right Tanakh. It can quote Gemaras, you know, or Mishnah. You know, it can quote various, you know, could quote. That's mamash Psukim in Leviticus, right? No, these are Psukim. So
with the Midrash also. I'm already a kid.
there with Medrash, mamash Chai for Birkat Torah
And Bogbug.
and Bugbug. There you go. So these are, you know, in theory, one could argue, was it different than a shir? What, am I paying less attention to the music than I am to Rabbi whoever? I don't know.
Usually.
Maybe you're drumming while you're like more into, maybe you're more into the music than you are into a shir. To some extent, right? After all, the music repeats the same line over and over and over again. I don't know. Okay, so that's the question. Here we go. Shulchan Aruch Pasuk Sheyesh Levarach Al Ktivat Divrei Torah. Av Al Pishenu Motzi Milim Befiv. Ach Meidach in Levarach Hear Her B'Divrei Torah. Excuse me. Hakokev B'Divrei Torah. Af Al Pishenu Korah Tzach Levarach. Let's say you're writing a shir. You're typing it up. Hamahar B'Divrei Torah Ein Tzarech Levarach Haga. Hu Adin Di Yachol Lifsog Din Below Netinas Tam Lidvarav. Can you believe this? You can answer the Torah texting challenge maybe. So some Birkat Torah. Achron hikshu b'avana pasuk zeh. Psak zeh. B'ma shona here hor michtiva. Why is there a difference? B'shneihem eina motivei Torah mepiv. Taz. Lo yadati makor lezeh me'in lamado. Nor do you get it from. Maiseh. Rui lechol kotev b'divrei Torah shiotzi b'vada mipiv k'tzat tiva l'hanatza mitoch bracha vatala. So again, we're so worried. So we have our minhag that we say bracha Torah and we say our psukim. So
that's what you're saying. Minhag in the Rishonim. So it's on the Shulchan Aruch. They were probably saying it every morning. No?
I guess not. It appears not, right? Taz says the bracha vatala. Don't just say the psukim. Don't just say the bracha.
The Mishnah Berurah for sure. There was
okay, this is a Taz.
I'm saying, but all these arguments, it's more of like it's less practical, right? Everyone would agree. You just make one bracha in the morning, and you go to everything, and you don't wait until you come upon the first Torah you see that day, right? It's more just what is the mechayev, right?
They were so excited to wake up in the morning and to write their Chidushei Torah. They didn't want to waste their time to say bracha Torah.
Okay.
As radical as that might sound, I don't. That's what it appears, right? Like,
also when it comes to answering a question,
right? Yeah, woken up. The Rabbi gets woken up. There's a famous story, right? Rabbi gets waken up before 3 in the morning. He says, "Wait, you have to recite Bracha Torah first." Right? It's a famous story of I think the Grach. He was woken up in the middle of the night and he couldn't get that. And his son heard him and said, "Oh, you have to Bracha Torah first, which is B'yashting Psak Din." So the Taz says we should be machmir, that before, when you write Divrei Torah, you should be machmir and at least say some of the words, and make sure to have actually said Birchot Torah beforehand. It says the Mishnah Berurah 23, Svaralei Dichsiva Adif Mehor, Vatam Yesh Omer Mishum David Maisev, Yesh Omer Derech HaKodev Lo Tziteva Mipiv B'Shar Ktiva, V'la Maisei Skim Achron Shelo Lismoch Adat HaMachaber Levarach Ktiva Levada, Chol Gavnei Harei Mechol Makam Eina Rak Mahar B'Divrei Torah. So it appears, comes to hear Divrei Torah, you don't need to recite Birchot Torah. Ktiva, well, maybe when you're kotev, you're kind of saying the words, and maybe since there's a ma'aseh, you should do it, but be machmir. And say Birchot Torah and recite other things first, or make sure to say it out loud. Mm-hmm. So it appears from here that here you don't need to recite a bracha, which means that you're driving to shul, listening to Shweki, or listening to whoever, or listening to Rabbi Cohen, whatever the case may be. I need to recite Birchot Torah. So you go to Daf Yomi, you just sit there, listen to Rabbi talk. Maybe you have to recite Birchot Torah.
Wait, but
we'll see. We're not done. We're not done. But if Hirhur isn't considered learning is speaking, guys.
If Hirhur isn't like considered actual Torah that you need to make a bracha on it, so how come we're not allowed to have Hirhur Torah in the bathroom?
In the bathroom?
Yeah.
Maybe
you're just listening.
Maybe
it's just here.
Do they have to be the same level?
I don't know. I guess not. I guess it doesn't have to be a relationship between the two.
Yeah. Ra'iti in the Tshuva Shev Yaakov. Shevi Kusha the Tazma Ganav Teretz. Bemet Tamba Lama. Mahar B'divrei Torah Nzol Levarech. I'll call upon him also B'divrei Torah. Here he is. I don't understand. But the bracha is la'asok B'divrei Torah. Am I not engaged in Torah with Hirhur? My mind is thinking about it. You could have a religious, spiritual moment, intellectual, philosophical moment, but Hirhur. With Shweki, right? I don't understand. Why do you need to say the words? Right? Why do you need to say the words? That's preposterous. He wants to argue. Which the Rambam, which I have no idea the Rambam says, but
the Rambam says
in
order to be yotze the mitzvah Talmud Torah, you need to say it out loud.
You have to have amira. You need to enunciate the words.
I think so.
Then you're the losiv shekein Torah mitzvah roton lamed Torah lachim yedei aktiva shnemar vatem kisvu lachem et shirazos. Klomar kivan shikar mitzvah Talmud Torah Hillel moedet Torah lacherim yeish levarech davka lo fanim behem efshar lahavir Torah lacherim. Hainu al dibur v'ktiva. That's a big chiddush, by the way. The purpose of Torah is actually teaching, and I can teach through written, I can teach through words, and that's why if you write Torah, you should make a bracha over it. No, I don't think so. V'lo hirhur shenasa ben adam la'atzmo. This is a famous Gra that I recall from many years ago. The Gra said, no, even on Hirhor you need to make a bracha. Against the Mishnah Berurah, and that is in fact what the Rabbi Yosef Paskin's like. So, we see from here, just to save ourselves a little bit of time, and this way we could jump to Vav. Halach l'maisa, guys. Even here, we make a bracha. However, that being said, better. Say bracha Torah. Say Yivrechacha. Say the Mishnah. Say the bracha. Say all those things just in case, and not just say the brachos and then go in to listen to Shweki. Okay, right? But rather, here you should make a bracha. And that, by the way, appears to be, which is fascinating, that this Gra has become normative practice.
It would become practical to us even, but like if you're driving through the night, or no, I guess that's the next simon. Well, whatever. Let's say you're not driving, you're a passenger, you sleep in the car, you're driving overnight. Then at 6 a.m. you're still driving. It gets light outside, and there's Shweki playing.
You need to receive, so we should receive Torah maybe.
Yeah. There's like
you have to wash in the water.
Way that it become practical.
The gears with the Mishnah Berurah?
What was that? Sorry.
How does
he argues. He says that the Gra says that even here. Look, to me, it's a big chiddush to say the whole purpose of Torah is teaching.
That's what he says. Okay.
And teaching is done either through Amira or Ktiva. Mm-hmm. That to me is a big chiddush. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, the Talmud Torah, yes, all that is true. Wonderful. But to me, that to me. Why? I don't know. And the opposite, just what I need to have a religious experience, again, either intellectual, emotional, philosophical. Through teaching, don't get me wrong, it's better, it's enhanced, but is that really what I need to do? No, I don't think so. And that's what I think the Gra is saying. That to me, that's where the Svara makes sense. Hear her to me makes sense that you should make a bracha. Hear her Torah is, which is why perhaps it should be also to do in the washroom.
But it's still a suffix. When it comes down to it.
So we are masupak about it, fine. So then, okay. Ner kol laila, then we're going to stop. What time is it? Oh, that's already 9:40. Okay. So a guy who takes an afternoon nap. By the way, what is the approximate time for Shana Keva during the day?
30 minutes.
What?
30 minutes.
Some will say 30, some will say 45, some will say an hour, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. Not like a 15-minute, 20-minute cat nap. Shana Keva bayamid havi hafsek. Yesh no hafsek v'chein nagu. Even though, generally speaking, when a person takes a nap, it's considered hafsek, as we see from Divrei Shulchan Aruch. This person sleeps for 4 hours during the day. So even though B'chad Torah is Doraita, it still falls on the category of Safei Bracha L'Hakal. Fine. No kivegan. Who adin b'yeshan b'yom v'ner kol layla shel acharav d'mavarach b'boker b'manash. This is a famous Shavuos morning. What do we always ask the question? We all stayed up all night. Who maybe had an afternoon nap the day before, an erev Shavuos? Why? Because if you had an afternoon nap on Shavuos for an hour, maybe you're obligated in B'chad Torah. Oh, you stayed up all night. So there's no, but maybe it's not the fact that you slept during the night that obligation in B'chad Torah. It's the fact that it's a new day, and we recite B'chad Torah every day. And because of that, safek that today maybe you should make a new bracha because B'chad Torah is recited every single day, despite the fact you stayed up all night. And safek maybe yesterday you should have really recited B'chad Torah again because you took an afternoon nap. You can recite B'chad Torah Shavuos morning to be motzi everybody.
So what's the difference?
No, it's like double. So that's what I'm going to say. Sveka. That's the famous case. In 29, Kol panim. Yeah. Don't be choshesh. You're part of about. Harbe poskim enopater rak mashal omed miyad. Leharbe poskim kriyat shema lo have limud. Right? So, and he says, and not only that, but don't rely on, as we saw before, Avar Rabbah, because maybe that's not even considered real limud, but rather,
not considered real
yes, Shema is not considered limud because I'm doing it to fulfill a mitzvah, and it's kriya.
Don't we paskin that you fulfill your mitzvah of Talmud Torah by saying Shema twice a day? Shema is Talmud Torah.
That's the minimum, right, of the
where's he getting that from?
We see that it's the bare minimum. I don't know, because it's kriya.
Even if one does.
L'harbe poskim kriya Shema lo havi limud. Isn't that Gemara? I'm forced that it is.
Because you're Yotze, you're Talmud, Erev Avoker.
Yeah.
That's the minimum. Is the and the minimum is Shachri. It's Kriya Shachar Varvi. It's Gemara and Brachos. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get where he's getting that from.
Maybe it depends. You have to have intent for it to be limud. Otherwise, it's not limud. It's just kriya. What happens if Shema came Laila? Obviously, she yishneh b'Laila mechavet lekol day bracha chadasha. Ga'im hitoreh be'emtza Laila chazer l'lmod. Right. So if you go to bed at 12, you wake up at 2. When you wake up at 2, you have to say bracha Torah again, even though it's the middle of the night.
You do? That's what he says?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're getting out, or if you're going to go learn at 2 in the morning. Let's say you're going to sleep from.
What's the cutoff?
He says because nighttime. Because Shenat Keva Balila is definitely a hefsek. And Shenat Keva Bayom.
Shenat Keva Bayom is a suffix if it's a hefsek by bracha Torah. But Shenat Keva Balila from is a hefsek Balila.
So what if I wake up at night? I'm saying if I go to sleep in the afternoon, I wake up at 2 in the morning. So
then yeah.
No, you slept at night.
Yeah,
I think you slept at night, right?
Parts of the morning.
Let's say this time of year, right? You fall asleep
at 5:30.
Right at early.
Yeah.
At 5, and you wake up at.
Wait, so then you shouldn't need to make a
Actually, it's funny. This time of year, you fall asleep at 4. It's daytime. You wake up at 6. Vadar Laila. Even an hour later, it's Vadar Laila.
Let's say you have to make bracha every day. It's talking about night.
I don't know. To me, I don't know if that's. There's night and then there's like nighttime, which is like sleeping night. Is they really the same?
Or the actual night?
Well, we know by the laws of Yichud to make that distinction, right? That Yichud at night is not the same as Yichud at sleeping night. But that's Makui Dafka for Yichud because no one's around.
So when it says you have to make bracha,
yeah.
It's definitely whether you have to make bracha every day. That's going on at nighttime.
Everyone agrees that every day you need to make a new bracha.
Okay.
And everyone agrees that sleeping at night is considered keva.
Okay.
So what happens if you sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
And you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're good to go.
No, but what caused you to do it? What caused you to do it? You only have one you have a suffix though.
No, shot coverage during the days for because it's still nighttime. You're saying, not daytime.
Unless the night is what causes the Berachos Torah, but I've never. Usually we say the day is right.
You don't wake up.
I do, but like I purpose to do fun.
He says, "Gam im hitorebim talayla v'chozer l'mod." It's Mishnah Berurah. Here, look at 30.
Okay.
I've done that and slept.
I know this is a different case. The Mishnah Berurah says a person who is up all night just hear from somebody else. I'll tell you what's interesting about 32. People don't do this. You see this in the kollels. Shavuos night is a big problem that happens because once it hits a los shachar, how can you continue learning Shavuos night? Mm-hmm. You need to recite Brachos Torah, or there's a suffix propagated. So really, when it hits a los shachar, you should bang. That's when you should do Brachos Torah. Generally speaking, most people do it when for davening at 5:30, but they really should be doing it at 4:15 in the morning, stopping for 5 minutes. It's los shachar. We are all obligated in Brachos Torah. The person that for sure is Seder allowed to be Motzias, then we continue learning. We should really stop for that 5 minutes. And that's what the Pesach Shus have. Sometimes you'll see, sometimes kollels will publish a list of Shachar time. That's why they're doing that for. To tell you, stop, you need to hear Brachos Torah. If you can't say it because you didn't sleep, hear from somebody else. That's what 32 is. Ki mishazos ve'ela chal alav chovas Brachos Torah, omnam yochal lahakel ad zman los hashachar me'uchar. Okay, so Pesach Tshuva brings different, by the way, different los hashachar, 90 minutes, 72 minutes, our shul does. So our shul does 72 minutes. But nafkamina what time a fast starts. And others say, no, just till you finish learning, when you finish the inyan, then you say Brachos Torah. I don't know. So it means you're not allowed to take any breaks. The moment you say take a break from your learning after the Shachar, everyone appreciates you need to recite Brachos Torah. The general olam is not like that. Be machmir to stop Brachos Torah time. I do think close to that. Okay, fine. With that, we finished. That was great. Brachos Torah. God willing, next week our new topic, and that is what is Zmanim Hayom. Talking about different times of Alos HaShachar. Those are really, really, really important topics. Lots to talk about. Very controversial, extremely practical, especially as our days get shorter and shorter and shorter, and everyone wants to figure out, when can daven Mincha, when can daven Shachar, when can daven Marv, and all those. And it's a suffix, and B'diavad, and what should a shul do versus what individuals should do, and traveling, and quite practical. Have a great day, everybody.